There are only like 2 or 3 candies in the world that I think are the best, and not only is this one of them, but I think we can do much better. Okay, so today we're talking about, obviously, Butterfingers. Some people are gonna be mad about this. I know that there's all sorts of ongoing lists on the internet of this candy bar is better than this one, blah, 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 whatever. Doesn't matter. Point is, Butterfingers are one of my favorites. It's one of my mom's favorites, and I know many other people who love them. This is a candy bar. It's not quite as simple as some chocolate and some caramel and maybe some peanuts. They have some sort of like a praline, but it's layered and it's crispy and it's crunchy, but it's also smooth and soft at the same time. I don't know. I think I would consider this to be an imperfect candy bar. There's all sorts of things that are wrong with it. It sticks to your teeth and it's too sweet and the chocolate doesn't taste like chocolate. The list goes on, but I'll go taste it and then we'll figure out what it's like. So with all that said, let's make this, shall we? So we've got the bar, a little more anticlimactic than our typical drops. So, oh, this is already broken in half. Classic. There's always some 12-year-old that goes through the convenience store and breaks all the Butterfingers. If you're watching, stop it. Stop. I've never really looked at the inside of one of these and I gotta say it looks pretty gross. Why is it orange? Shouldn't it be yellow since it's peanut butter? Let's do this. I can't rag on these. They do taste pretty good, but they're sickeningly sweet. I think this is gonna be a challenge for us, honestly. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, but I think we can find out right about now. So the time has finally come for Butterfingers. Yeah, you like that one? Probably not. They're surprisingly easier than I thought they'd be, so let's begin with our peanut butter stuff. First, in a very large bowl, add 1.5 cups or 415 grams of smooth unsalted peanut butter, add 1 teaspoon or 7 grams of fine sea salt, and whisk that together until thoroughly combined. Now, I know this bowl looks a bit large, but trust me, you want mixing room. Next, snag yourself an 8x8 baking pan, spray it with oil to coat all sides, and then press in a sheet of parchment paper, leaving enough length for some overhang like this. We all like a little overhang, am I right, folks? Am I right? Woo! Stupid, sorry. Now to make this even easier, we're gonna make a honeycomb candy as the base of this. To do that, get a medium-sized sauce pot. This one is about 4 quarts. Then add in 1 cup or 210 grams of granulated white sugar, 2 tablespoons or 34 grams of maple syrup, half a cup or 165 grams of corn syrup. By the way, if you don't want to do maple syrup, you could just do all corn syrup, plus the granulated sugar, of course. Finally, add in a 1/4 cup or 60 grams of filtered water. Place it on the stove, give it a little mix to combine, then turn the heat to medium-high, pop in a candy thermometer, and let that bad boy get up to a nice boil. Now during this time, I might fluctuate the heat down a little if it's coming up too fast or boiling too vigorously, depends on your stovetop. Now once that mixture is boiling and has reached around 240 degrees Fahrenheit or 115 degrees Celsius, pop your bowl of peanut butter into the oven and set the oven to the lowest temp possible. We just need to warm up the peanut man a little bit. Now let your sugar mixture continue to simmer, and once it reaches 285 degrees Fahrenheit or 140 degrees Celsius, turn the heat off of your sugar syrup, use pot holders to carefully remove your peanut butter from the oven, and separately in a small bowl mix together 1.5 teaspoons or 4 grams of vanilla extract and half a teaspoon or 4 grams of baking soda. Then pour all of that mixture into your sugar syrup and immediately stir together vigorously. Now keep in mind that when you do that, it will violently aerate and boil, so be careful and make sure there's enough room. Now as soon as it does that, quickly scrape your honeycomb candy into your peanut butter and fold that together over and over and over until thoroughly combined. Now keep in mind that it will not become completely homogeneous, and it's gonna look a little thready like this, which is good, you want that. Just don't overwork it by mixing it too long. Now once it's looking good and starts to stiffen up, immediately pour that mixture into your prepared 8x8 pan and gently press it out to the sides to evenly fill out the pan. Let me be extra specific. Make sure it is spread evenly. This isn't a collection of mountains, it's a Butterfinger base. Now set that guy to the side to cool for 1 to 2 hours or until completely firm and cool. Once your filling is ready, carefully lift it out of your baking pan, place it on a cutting board. Now I'd recommend being precise here. They're gonna look much better if you are. Get a ruler and mark cuts that are about 1 to 1.5 inches apart. Then using a very sharp knife, make scores across the entire surface. Following those markers, try to keep these cuts as straight as possible. Then carefully cut across each and every one of those scores. And by the way, don't just press your knife straight down. You're gonna wanna do some sawing to prevent it from crumbling or breaking. You should get a total of 6 to 8 lovely long boy bars like these. Now you can either leave them ultra long like this, which look cool, or you could cut those in half for more individual servings, up to you. Now we just need to enrobe these with chocolate, which of course you're going to need to melt and temper first. Oh man, everyone's getting scared now. Tempering chocolate, oh God, please have mercy, Josh. Don't worry, I saw an easier method floating around on the internet that actually works quite well. Not as perfect as traditional tempering, but saves you enormous time. You're gonna need around 650 grams or 1.5 pounds of chocolate, dark or milk. I used 60% cacao. Then you're gonna chop that into fine little shavings like this, and I'm talking real fine. Then just turn it and cut it in the opposite direction as finely as possible to get the finest chopped chocolate you can. Run your knife through it a few times, the finer the better. Now place 3/4 of that chopped chocolate into a heat-proof bowl and place it in the microwave. Trust me, I know it's a big culinary no-no, but it has to be done for science and ease of use. Now microwave that at 50% power for 15-second intervals, stirring in between each interval. Then just rinse and repeat that process until the chocolate is completely melted. At that point, you're then going to stir in the rest of your remaining chocolate. That sounds redundant, and it should melt completely at that point, or at least 90% of the way there. If it didn't fully melt, then microwave it for no more than 5 more seconds at 50% power, stir again, and you should have a fully melted and relatively stabilized tempered chocolate. It's weird, but it works. Okay, now we're ready to finish these guys off. Line a baking sheet with ideally a silicone mat, link in the description, or alternatively, some parchment paper. Now place 2 long skewers on the top of your bowl right there, spaced a little over 1 inch apart, and then for the smaller bars, drop them into your chocolate, gently turn them over to coat each side, and please be careful not to break them, okay? Or Papa's gonna come in and give you a little spank, and you're not gonna like that one, trust me. Then using a fork, transfer them onto your skewers, spoon a little extra chocolate on top, and then using a spatula, gently smooth out the tops. Don't press down a bunch, we just want the tops to be smooth and flat. Then using a fork, transfer it to your silicone mat and repeat this process with the rest of your Butterfinger failures. This is gonna take some practice. It's not like you're gonna get it right on the first try, but it's really not as hard as it looks, I promise. Now for larger bars, it's the same concept. You're just gonna have to spoon to coat them in the chocolate rather than dropping them because they're a little bit too delicate to be dunked. Now once you've coated all of your bars in chocolate, as is tradition around here, give them a nice generous pinch of flaky salt along the entire length of the bar. Then just let them cool completely, which will take around 2 to 3 hours, and you should be left with a tempered chocolate perfect Butterfinger bar. Now once your Butterfingers are solidified, you can trim the edges to make it nice and squared off like this guy. Now for storage, you can leave them in an airtight container at room temp for a few days or in the fridge for a few weeks. And I mean, just look at these. They're like gorgeous little glistening cigars studded with sparkling diamonds awaiting to be consumed. And the inside, I mean, speaks for itself. You got the quippity quantity, and it just actually looks quite similar. So despite the fact that these are ready to be loved and kissed, or something like that, I don't know. Let's give these a little taste test.
So,
it's come down to this. Pretty proud this worked out. As soon as I realized that a honeycomb kind of crunch would work well for this, I knew honeycomb, peanut butter, hope that works, and it did, I think. Chocolate is tempered pretty well. I would say make sure that you dip your chocolate at the right time. If you dip it right away, you're gonna get a little bit of sort of stripy, not proper tempering. Let it cool just for like a few minutes before you start dipping. Now, salty crunch. We did it. The texture, it needs to be crunchier. It's a little softer. It's more flaky, like a croissant. The sweetness is perfectly balanced with the chocolate and the peanut butter. It's salty, it's rich. I think we doggone did this one, brother, but we have a special taste tester in the house. Butterfingers are her favorite. It is my mom. Yay, the mom is back. Number 1, don't be shy. And there's number 2. Think and chew.
Just one. The flavor is more peanut buttery and creamy.
Oh, you can take this off, by the way. You chose mine. That was good.
It's delicious.
It has been decided by the mom, the Butterfinger fanatic has spoken. And we've won this war yet again. We can't stop. We won't stop. You want to know what else is long, appears to be coated in chocolate, and should be immediately consumed? B-roll. Alright guys, and that is it. So we made Butterfingers, but better. It was simpler than I thought it would be, honestly. I'm not trying to flex, I'm just saying that it really is that simple. You make the honeycomb candy, you mix it with the peanut butter, you put the chocolate on top, somehow it just works. The only key I would say is make sure to temper your chocolate properly. I've told you many times before, and I will say it again. The point is, if you've never made a candy bar before, this is where you start, and I'd be more than happy to be the shepherd to your chocolate bar dreams. So with all that said, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.